What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with another video on season 2 of Mr. Robot. Going to be going over episode 11, Python part 1. It's going to be a theory-based video on is Tyrell alive, and also what I believe is going on with Angela. So let's get into this kind of theory breakdown. But first, let's have a sip of Monster. So, did Elliot try to kill, or did he kill Tyrell? So as we know, in my opinion, Tyrell and Elliot is Mr. Robot, were behind the E-Core hack at the end of season 1. But funny enough, Elliot doesn't have any memories from actually doing that, and he kind of blanked out for 3 days, and he didn't really find out all of this kind of stuff until quite late into season 2, when Mr. Robot told him what happened, told him that he killed Tyrell. But obviously Mr. Robot and Elliot are the same person. Mr. Robot is Elliot's alter ego. So what happens if his alter ego told him fake memories that didn't actually happen? So reasons Tyrell appears to be dead, or is on the run, or is keeping low key if he isn't dead. So obviously he's on the run after murdering the CEO of Evil Corp's wife. That is a very explanational reason why he would be in hiding. So let's go over some evidence of what actually has occurred this season. So firstly, his wife Joanna went from being in a handful of episodes to actually being a season regular on season 2. So that's something to watch out for if you didn't already watch out for this when you actually started watching the series. She's been getting gifts throughout the whole season from somebody, which everyone thinks it's from Tyrell, but she doesn't actually know who it's from. So the most kind of important evidence is she received a burner cell phone who could potentially be from him. So that's the biggest clue, but there's no actual indications that it is him solidly. So on last week's episode, not this week's episode, Joanna's bodyguard, can't remember his name, basically told Elliot that he's got to track this phone to see where it is. So he tracked this phone, and the bodyguard says he can't be there, he wouldn't be there. So that was really interesting. It's almost like he knew the exact location when he seen the GPS of where it was. And then on this week's episode, right at the start, Joanna was like, "Are you sure that's the location?" And then she was like, "This is the best gift he's ever given me." But they aren't divorced, they're still married. I think that's a key component to this theory. So my friend was saying, Elliot, I'll link his channel in a kind of card somewhere, was saying that's an indication that it could mean he's dead, or could mean he's alive. He could be alive. So far I don't really actually think there's any solid evidence to say he's dead or alive, but there's some evidence coming up in a bit. So her saying that's the greatest news, it could mean he's dead, could mean he's alive, or it could be an indication, or in fact they could have actually been speaking without us actually seeing anything. Remember, the writers want to confuse the hell out of us on this show because at times we don't even know what's going on. Clearly, with the whole prison, not that many people actually knew he was in prison for most of the season, including myself, because I wasn't really thinking that way. So they've tracked his cell phone down, and potentially it's to Joanna's house. But the interesting thing is there's a theory going around that Elliot has taken Tyrell's as another alter ego, just like he did with Mr. Robot. But if this is the case, when this burner phone called the cell phone when Elliot had it, he would be breathing down the phone at himself. But how could he call himself when the phone was ringing? You couldn't see him calling on the other hand. So if it was him breathing down the phone from one side to the other, you would have to see him or Mr. Robot calling the burner phone. So that's a big indication that how can this alter ego be Elliot, because that's like Elliot's calling himself on a different alter ego like Mr. Robot. But then towards the end of the episode we got the biggest clue. So obviously Elliot was following Mr. Robot into this cab. Obviously Elliot is Mr. Robot. As you can see, it's quite confusing in some ways. So he got in his cab, he didn't know where he's going, and then all of a sudden Tyrell appears. So they get into this argument, and Elliot keeps going to the cab driver, can you hear him, can you hear him? And the cab driver does not respond to Tyrell at all. And also Tyrell's accent, it's the same actor, but he's slightly off key. He does, well, obviously the person who I discussed my theories with, Elliot, said that his voice was slightly off key, and after rewatching it I agree, his voice was slightly off key. So they basically get out of the taxi, and Tyrell said it's not safe to be here, and then he's like, stage 2 is ready, the Dark Army is ready for stage 2. So whatever this stage 2 is, we're most likely going to see it start to happen in the last episode, which comes this Wednesday for us UK people, or yeah, Thursday morning for UK people. So I can't actually decide if Elliot has taken on an alter ego of Tyrell, just like he has with Mr. Robot. But then if you've seen the trailer for the final episode, you have Mr. Robot, Elliot, and Tyrell stood side by side, which is an indication that now Elliot has 2 split personalities, and he can act as Tyrell and act as Mr. Robot and act as himself. But what was interesting about this episode is he blocked out Mr. Robot, and he was like watching Mr. Robot from afar. Mr. Robot couldn't hear him. For the first time in over 20, the first time since ever that he's blocked Mr. Robot out by inducing an elusive dream. So it's pretty mental theory that Elliot is actually Tyrell, alter ego, split personality. Let me know what you think down below. It's just a crazy theory. It's been a theory that's going around for a while, but I'm not really buying this theory, if I'm honest. And also another question, if you get this far, is right at the end of season 1, I read that some people are saying that Tyrell was actually the man in the F Society mask. Let me know down below what you think. Do you think that's true? Is this theory crazy? It's got some legs, there's a lot of evidence, but for me there isn't enough evidence to actually say that Tyrell is dead. I mean, obviously his wife Joanna has been a main star of this season throughout, obviously to keep the Tyrell storyline going, because if she wasn't in it, it wouldn't have any legs. Anyway, let's get on to the second part of this. So obviously at the end of episode 10, Elliot and Angela were on the train, and then she was taken who people believed were the FBI or the Dark Army, as she's being watched for the whole season. So she got chucked in a van, went to this house, and it turned out to be the Dark Army. She was questioned by a little girl, kind of psycho-analysing her, kind of asking her questions from the past. Was she like sexually abused, saying, did you cry during sex? Did you have thoughts of killing your father, etc, etc. But one key point that a lot of people haven't realised is Angela goes, your fish is dead. But watch it carefully, the fish isn't dead. So then she passed these tests, and obviously another theory is that the little girl is meant to be like a version of Angela when she was younger. God, this video is getting long, but let's keep rolling. So it turned out to be White Rose who is involved with the Dark Army. She heavily involved, but you don't actually see her. She kept saying how important her time is. The door was actually unlocked the whole time, so she could have walked away. So obviously she wanted to know who Philip was so, well, not obsessed with, but Philip's done a lot for Angela. Now she's got an ace, like a really high job in Corp. So Angela's got this vendetta against Corp, and she wants to like take him down. It's all to do with Elliot's father and Angela's mum being killed at the Washington Township plant. So something that happened there is she was implying that her and Elliot wouldn't have actually known each other. She's basically saying that their whole life evolves around what happened at Washington Township plant, and saying that those two wouldn't have the lives they've got now if that didn't actually happen. So White Rose has told us something, told her the truth of what happened that day, and it appears like she has dropped a whole vendetta against Washington Township plant. So then we see Angela go to her lawyer saying, discard my voicemail, don't ever talk to me again, kind of in a way that it looks like she's been probed, like she's been programmed, like AI, artificial intelligence, kind of like they've programmed her in terms of what to say. So this kind of links back to the psycho analysing the questions, kind of like seeing if the questions were saying, is she programmable? So it's kind of like the questions were saying, are you programmable, in my eyes. And then what happened, Elliot picked up on this, I didn't pick on this. They had a power cut, but then the TV went back 20 seconds, watch it if you haven't, and then it replayed exactly the same thing 20 seconds later. And then this is the only bit that wasn't like she was a robot. She said, don't ever call me again. So either she's pretending that she's programmed to find out what happened at Washington Township plant, or she has been programmed. So now this kind of leads me on to believe that have the Dark Army programmed Angela and Elliot, and is this what's going down at Washington Township plant? Is it to do with artificial intelligence? Are they trying to program everyone? Because if you flick back to Philip's like basically saying that Corp money will be the shit, and no other money is going to be important. But if White Rose is trying to program the human race, this would make sense, because if she's programming it, money wouldn't matter because she'd be in control totally. Now this theory kind of leads on from what my boy Elliot said, that they're kind of, I honestly think it has some legs of robots coming, like people being programmable, maybe not robots in a sense, to actually do what's, basically get people to do what you want them to do. But how are they probing these people? It just seems there's something going on at this Washington Township plant. It could be nuclear, obviously. People died there. And then going back to White Rose says, do you believe what is real? Do you know what real is? She kept going on about something to do with real. What is your version of real? So is White Rose's version of real being able to program people? Let me know down below what you think. Subscribe at top corner somewhere. Let me know your thoughts. Is this theory mental? Sorry this video has gone on for it's nearly 15 minutes long, I think. This video is sponsored by Monster, so awesome guys for sponsoring this video, and yeah, I'll be doing a breakdown of the finale next week, and then a breakdown of the season as a whole, and then some kind of season 3 prediction as time goes on. My usual schedule, I'll be back to the Flash, Arrow, Legends, Supergirl videos, and anything DC and Marvel related. So, peace.